Hello, is that you, Yugi? I know you went out of your way to come see me yesterday, and I'm, really sorry. I had some urgent work come up. Still, thanks to that, my cockroach extermination job's over and done with. Bang! That really was a tough one. Hello? Yugi! When the rose dies. Oh, God, I wonder what's gonna happen! What kind of fucking foreshadowing is that? God damn. Motherfucking billboard saying someone's dying. Jesus. And if it's Yuki, I'm gonna get so fucking triggered. Oh, God. I'll get so fucking mad. It's probably not gonna be her. But, because they made it obvious that it would be her. But I'm gonna get really fucking pissed. Sorry, I guess I really am an idiot. Good. I should be the one apologizing. I just happened to miss you during a nervous period. So I've been feeling down. Yeah, bad timing, and we just missed each other. But thanks to that, my job's done. I'm sorry I was so useless just when you wanted to rely on me. So you aren't at fault at all. It's all my fault. Oh, really? Then it's your fault, not mine. Apologize to me. Say you're sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Harry's sorry. Santa, help me. It's not funny at all. Yuki realized that she'd been taking this too seriously all by herself. Laughed as though her gloom had been dispelled. Alan laughed with her. Before long, she felt completely relieved. However, the depth of the ditch between them hadn't changed in the slightest. She had to test whether or not this was something they could overcome hand in hand. Alan, I swear to God, you better fucking lay out across that fucking ditch and let her walk on your back. You caused it! And it was possible that this might even lead to them breaking up. Still, let's talk it out. I don't want to lie anymore. I'll tell Alan that I'm one of those Chinese people who, according to him, they'll never be able to form a mutual understanding with. And then I'll tell him that I'm practically a member of the GDS, one of those mafias I said I hated so much. Oh, thank God you're a mafia. I am too. I'll show him my raw self. Oh, you raw me. And if that doesn't work, I'll search for a new love. Me! Alan, I hope you fuck this up. I've got no interest in love as fake as me. Clinging to an illusion forever. Hey, Alan, I have a favor to ask you. Sure thing, your wish is my command. I'll do anything that'll make you happy, Yuki. Well, I'd like to introduce you to my big brother. Your brother? You've saved up a lot of points, right? Wasn't your next wish coming to play at my house? Well, of course I want to go to your house. Then you'll have to meet my brother. The two of us live in the same house. If you can't get along well with him, then we won't be able to stay together. If you put it that way, I can't afford to lose. I'll have to try hard so he doesn't think I'm not good enough for you. Yahoo! Listen, Keith, I've finally been invited over to Yuki's house. I'm gonna get laid! What? Are you still doing that? I don't really get it, but congrats. She said she wants me to introduce me to her big brother soon, so I've got to go meet him. What does it mean suddenly getting closer like this? Does this mean I'm gonna become friends with her family? Whoa! So stupid, getting all smug because of a woman. At least I used to think that way, but... Come to think of it, there's no way to get more kids unless couples like that give birth. Kids, you say? But it's too soon, big brother. We've got to start with a platonic relationship first. Alan was ecstatic and off in his own little world. No, I'm gonna fucking do kids right now. The old Keith would have looked at this and mocked it slightly in his head. He thought that being carefree and getting hooked on women was for fools. Yeah, smug. And that real adults had to be stoic and cool-headed. Cringe. Some fucking cringe-ass logic. However, it was thanks to this carefree man's brightness that he was able to return from that freezing Siberia alive. That stoic, lonely recruit who didn't try to earn anyone's favor would surely have been ostracized by his superiors, becoming malnourished or getting dysentery and dying. However, Alan's carefree attitude and cheeriness had won over his superiors, even earning him some friends among the Soviet troops. Wasn't it Alan who had convinced the Russian medical officer to let me rest for a whole week after I passed out? From now on, whenever I meet a woman, I'll try thinking about whether I could fall in love with her or not. I think women are pretty pointless, but when I see you, I start feeling like I'm the idiot. You are the fucking idiot. Hey, girls are pretty nice. Love is power. Gives you the strength of a million. Big brother, I'll protect Yuki for the rest of my life. Nah, just messing around. Whee! Children are important. Family's important. And love must also be important. You should give it a try too, Keith. Well, I never had anything to do with women. Hey, it's fun. Like starting a new life. The next time I meet a girl, I'll try looking at it that way. I want Alan to fucking get in. King. So you're jealous, thinking your partner might be stolen away by a girl. It's the opposite. No matter how much time he spends with women, I know there's a place reserved only for him and me. And I get it. You're trying to look tough when you're really just lonely, huh? I'm not trying to look tough at all. Keith was pushing a baby stroller with the sleeping Yuji inside. It was hard to care for children and shop at the same time. Having to shop every day with a heavy child on your back would kill anyone's shoulders. True, one could shop alone if they used a baby stroller. However, there are some kidnappers who went after children. So fucked. Babies, besides those looking for profit, mothers who lost their children in the Great Disaster sometimes happen to make off with babies who resembled their own. Unable to leave their children alone at home alone, mothers with young ones always suffered when they went shopping. So simply having another person here to help look after a child lightened the burden considerably. Keith was now practically a Yuji-only babysitter. Alan liked fighting, so being a bodyguard at a bar suited him perfectly, but Keith was different. He'd play the part of the bodyguard when his partner Alan was with him. But if there was any other work out there, he wasn't usually that interested in rough work. These days, he would go to the Mayugi house almost every week and spend the day with Yuji and Stella. You're one of those, aren't you? You see people in love and you think they're idiots who've lost their minds. Pretty much until a short while ago. Oh, and what about now? If men and women don't fall in love, children will never be born. It's a sort of contradiction to love kids but hate men and women in love. True, it's like saying you like chicks but hate chickens. I've sort of noticed this contradiction inside myself. I value children, I value harmonious families, and yet I thought of the steps leading to that as being dirty somehow. See, that's the wrong mindset. The King Alan knows what he's doing. I know how you feel. You might think your daughter is cute and you want her to build a happy family, but then you suddenly start poking your nose in when she gets a boyfriend. Look, the rates of fucking shitty dudes far outweigh it. I'm just saying. If dudes weren't as shit, maybe you wouldn't have to care. That's all I say. Why does love seem so filthy to us? You know, sure. Marriage interviews have been the norm in Japan for a long time. Parents on both sides carefully scrutinize the child on the other, and they make a proposal only after deciding if there are no issues. I see. So they wouldn't want their precious child marrying into some undesirable family based on blind love. I only have like 3 questions that I care about. That's all I want to know. I think parents like that have passed on a bad image of marriage based on love, which decides a life partner without the partner's say. Parents say. It's sort of a letdown to me. I thought it was totally cool since I didn't go crazy for girls. But actually, I was just acting like a good little kid following his parents' orders. Pretty pathetic, right? You've become an adult. So when Yuji grows up and falls in love with a girl of unknown origin, what will you do, Stella? Is it really a problem? Let him find as much love as he can. For some reason, men treat love like it's so sacred. Love is a one-time sacred thing, like the stinger of a honeybee. As soon as it stabs something, you die too. Yeah, I know. I genuinely despise people who brag about how many people they've gone out with. Go ahead and despise them if they go out with someone else after signing the marriage papers. That's no good. But before that, I think you should find love with and go out with all sorts of people. True! Stella's a queen. Jesus Christ. Do men have some kind of supernatural power that lets them spot their fated person at a glance? Nope, nothing like that. The same goes for women. Of course they have no supernatural power that lets them spot the person they're fated to be with after meeting them and having a brief conversation. So you should fall in love with people of different kinds of people, searching for the one you're fated to be with. Well, the thing is, you don't know what you want. Literally nobody, except very, very few people, really know what they want deep down. Like, they'll be like, oh, I really like this, but, like, theoretically speaking, if you're gonna settle down with someone for fucking years, you better really like that fucking person. And just, like, jumping into it really fucking haphazardly, dumb. You should always, always let it rest, look around, sample the options, and then make your decision. And that's to everyone, guys and girls. And while you're learning to do that, you learn how to deal with the opposite sex. And you start to see what you'd like out of your fated person. You start to learn your own height and spot You start to learn your own height and spot people who match it. And every now and then you start thinking, maybe this person's not so bad. It's sort of like that card game, Concentration. You flip several face-down cards over, looking for the card you want. After all, people are surprisingly bad at spotting their fated person. Well, fucking course. Even I once thought a tall, handsome, rich man who could tell a good joke would be my prince. If a guy like that actually existed, he'd have married some lady long ago. Exactly. I actually did try to going out with someone like that, but it felt wrong somehow. And now after taking care of Yuji all this time, I finally understand. You mean you figured what your type was? Yeah, I need someone who treasures family. And it's gotta be someone who likes kids. Too bad I'm short, not handsome, I suck at jokes, and I'm poor and stingy. I've never gone out with someone like that before, so I'm sort of interested. Easy. Ah, please none of that. Come on, I'm a kid. People get the wrong idea. Well, we're together all the time, so some people have already gotten the wrong idea. Stella and a young man are playing with Yuji. Who could that be? Yuji is the precious child who she raised with the consigliere. If she's letting him play with a child like that, they must be pretty close. Well, I'm a member of battalion. You could just say I'm your bodyguard. It'd just be a pain to try and explain it away like that. I told everyone you're my new boyfriend. Is it really okay for a lady of the evening to announce that she has a boyfriend? She isn't one. I'm retired after all, so nothing wrong with loving out in the open now. Hold on a sec. I'm pretty sure I have the right to choose too. My, you're a cheeky little boy. Don't you realize how hard it is to make a reservation with me? Wait. Yuji's watching. Stop it! Oh, Yuji, did you wake up? Stella lifted Yuji out of the stroller. Maybe he was a little half asleep since his eyes were drowsy. Yuji, do you like Big Brother Keith? I like him, as he answered to yawn. Stella smiled and hugged him. I like him too, right? I get the feeling I can always be myself when I'm talking to you. She's putting in way too fucking much work here. Look, kid, you're either gonna get in or fucking ditch off. I feel like I could talk to you naturally, like family, instead of a man and woman relationship. Well, I came from a big family. I guess that just sort of shows. I don't know, but I never feel worn out with you. Well, I guess that's important. Do you get worn out around me? Well, I sometimes get tired with Yuji's energetic and forces me to keep up. Don't dodge the issue. Are you mocking me? Not at all. I'm just enjoying this feeling. Is this what Alan meant when he talked about feelings as though you were starting a new life? Keith didn't know. But he hadn't felt this tingly since the first time he'd been offered a smoke. What the heck's that supposed to mean? You mean like being offered a chance to do something secret and bad? I don't really get it myself. I'm not a veteran in love like you, Stella. You know, you aren't supposed to call people whatever when you're among family. I won't ask you to do it in public, but please stop when we're alone, okay? Well, it's true. I really don't like people calling people that. You're a big-time Primavera exec, Stella. I'm so uncool, just like a kid. Whoa, what the fuck was that transition? Well, I guess I'll do my best to be a bit more open and honest. After all, it ticks me off when people treat me like a little boy. You are a stubborn little boy. Just my type. If you want, would you like to come have a drink in my room tonight? Just the two of us. Damn. Yes! Whoa, never received an invitation like that before. Truth is, I can't really hold my liquor. I hope you get hit by a bus. I hope you get hit by a bus. I hate drinking too. Glad to see our taste match. Oh, that's surprising. You worked in Primavera, but you still can't drink? I'm mad. I'm getting angry. I am getting angry. Yep. Very good, boy. You get a gold star. If neither of us can drink, then... Stop! Then... Can you think of anything else we can do together besides drinking? Sal grabbed Keith's arm and smiled roguishly. However, her face didn't look like a lady of the evening, but more like a child friend who'd lived in his neighborhood for years. Good talk. I'm mad. I am mad. I'm getting angry. Hello? Since that day Gabriel had taken command, Butler had been like a pet dog with a chain around his neck. He was under constant surveillance, and nearly all of his authority had been stripped. He was supposedly Gabriel's second in command, but he was treated practically like Gabriel's pet dog, Phil. However, there was nothing Butler could do. Gabriel was his superior officer, and he even had proof of Butler's wrongdoing. Yeah, I mean... fucked. Butler had evidence too, so he couldn't be touched any more than this. But Gabriel also had no need to release him. He was literally being kept as a pet for life. Of course, Butler had no intention of being doted upon and taking it easy. He groped about for ways to secretly contact members of his faction within HQ and somehow break out of his current situation. But he has an iron grip on everything. He's not going to be able to. His observers came as far as the entrance to the bathroom. However, they obviously refrained from coming in with Butler. At that time, Butler was under constant guard and forbidden from contacting anyone on the outside, to say nothing of Primavera. Butler knocked on the furthest stall back and got a knock in return telling him it was occupied. There were plenty of other stalls open, but Butler specifically chose the one next door. Hey, buddy. Then something small was thrown over the partition between his stall and the next one over. It was a small rolled-up memo. In exchange, Butler threw over a crumpled-up high-value bill. When the man in the next stall took it, he coughed as though expressing his gratitude. He unrolled the memo. On it was information packed together with small letters. Of course, it was information about Gabriel. That bastard. How long does he think he can keep me pinned down as a pet? And it was a record of Gabriel's history and upbringing. Even now, Butler couldn't understand Gabriel's thoughts and personality. Only when he discovered that he would be able to build a plan to win him over, threaten him, or take him down. Understanding Gabriel, Butler thought this would be the most direct route to defeating him. Nah. You're just gonna have to, set him up to fail. There were no new discoveries to be found in his history. Gabriel, Kaburaya, his father was Japanese, making him a Japanese American. He was an elite among elites, who had graduated from officer school with superb grades. When war broke out between Japan and America, some Japanese Americans entered the army to prove their allegiance towards America. However, Gabriel had entered officer school before that, working an elite route that separated him from the other people of Japanese descent. But that was probably thanks in large part to the fact that he had taken strongly after his mother. It was hard to spot his Japanese ancestry at a glance. Yeah, it wasn't like his name or anything. Also, he had received a high-quality education from his mother's distinguished family. So few people realized he was a mixed race until they heard his name. There you go. when he was secretly investigated during the war by the OSS, predecessor to the CIA, when he was suspected of participating in spy activities by officers of Japanese descent. Everyone was. However, this investigation proved that he was a model American military man who pledged absolute allegiance to the Stars and Stripes. Fuck yeah. At the time, Japanese Americans were being forced into concentration camps to prevent them from engaging in terror spying. However, this made for suitable propaganda in Japan, which could accuse America of unscrupulous racial discrimination. Of course, it could be used as a political card, given the importance America placed on civil liberties. For that reason, the military's public relations department wanted to find more stories celebrating Japanese Americans who pledged allegiance to the Stars and Stripes. Taking full use of that momentum, Gabriel dashed up an elite path and managed to make the position of major while still young. Wow, I see. So he wasn't only an elite, but got lucky too. It's just the protection of God. Guess that angelic name isn't just for show. By the way, Butler was also secretly investigated by the OSS at that time. He had been cleared of suspicion as being a spy, but since the term moving story could hardly apply to him, he never received his lucky tailwind. Still, I don't like it. Apparently, those cold reptilian eyes had always looked at him with he never shows to anyone. At the very least, no matter who to ask, they say he was a warm, compassionate character, just like the angel he's named after. Though when he looks at me, at least, I see nothing but an extreme lack of compassion. Well, that's his real shit. I feel madness from that angel, like he wouldn't mind killing villains no matter how gruesome it gets. True. You do meet crazy people like that now and then. But I can hardly imagine people like that rising to rank of major. Upbringing, is it? Don't find a hint there, I'm stuck. Butler dragged his school record and family makeup and such long ago, had grasped. However, this was the first information he'd gotten on Gabriel's everyday activities, such as his upbringing and conduct. He continued to read. Look, where's like the abusive dad story? Before long, there was sweat forming on Butler's forehead. Not just a drop, a whole lot of it. Though his lips still had Butler's usual bold smile, his expression was stiff. I'm impressed you managed to research this much. Now I understand how the Major thinks. His tense fingers crumpled the corners of the memo. They were wet with sweat. A warm, compassionate person fitting for the name of an angel? The hell is it he is? You're one bastard of a Tanuki. You see, I want to stain these hands red with mafia blood. After all of my accomplishments and efforts until this day have been for the sole purpose of achieving that goal. Oh, come on. That's a spicy joke for such a pretty face. It certainly is not a joke. I may use my authority in any methods that I please to destroy criminal organizations. Do you realize how hard I've worked to get a chance to hear those words? From the very beginning, he said it all himself, didn't he? So then, his goal is... It's not funny at all, Gabe. Butler tried to take a fountain pen from his hip pocket. However, his fingertips were shaking and sweaty, so he had to struggle to even hold the pen. He scribbled over a single page in a notebook. The letters were incredibly shaky. What's in it? Then he tore it up, rolled it up, and tossed it over the partition. Take that message to Madame Rose with all haste. It's urgent. Well, other than, like, he's going to try to kill everyone. Like, in the Mafia. Like, that's what he desires to do. Yes, sir! That was the sound of running water, and the man dashed out of the bathroom. He probably shouldn't have yelled yes, sir, but whatever. If Butler left too, the MPs waiting outside might get suspicious, so Butler left the stall a short while later. As he washed his hand, he looked at the face in the mirror. His face was weary and covered in beads of sweat. Butler was aware that he was a villain. Before this day, he had made contact with several people who had similar plots out of self-interest. So he knew that there were all kinds of villains. There were greedy villains who were honest with themselves. There were hypocritical villains who wouldn't acknowledge that they were villains. There were proud villains who just wanted to satisfy their vanity. There are also business-like, emotionless villains who viewed bribery and corruption as just part of the job. There are all kinds. Most fit into those few categories. Each one could be won over in different ways, and there was no villain who couldn't find a compromise with. But, however, this Major was a different form of all of those. At worst, I'll end up going down too, damn it. For the first time, another person made Butler shudder in fear. This man, who never hesitated to deal with the most violent mafia, shuddered. He washed his face, dried in, and finally left the bathroom. Hey there, Phil. If it isn't the Major. Never imagined such a great angel would ever need to use the toilet. Though I'm sort of interested to find what plops out when an angel is straddling in the toilet seat. I forgot to mention it, so I'll let it slide this time. But do not profane angels again. Behind Gabriel, the officer Butler had spoken with was now in the bathroom, was being held by some MPs. Then they went through his pocket and took out the memo Butler had handed him. Why did you put it somewhere easy to find? Major, you had this on him. Oh, let's see. You don't mind, do you, Phil? Gabriel spread out the crumpled memo, then looked between him and Butler's face, lingering over every word. Now that's odd. How could parts of my plan that I never told to you leak out? You really are insane. I know we're villains. I've done all sorts of bad things for my own sake. You are a villain after all. But you know what? Even among villains, there are things you can do and things you must not do. Well, I don't understand a bit of your definition of a villain. But the villains I know are like literal Satans, without a drop of mercy. Butler couldn't bring himself to say anything more. Since he had already come to understand part of Gabriel's madness, he couldn't say anything more. Gabriel signaled with his chin, and his aides pinned Butler's hands behind his back. His legs were kicked out from under him from behind, and he was brought down to his knees. Ow, stop it. Open your mouth. It's not a mouth splendid enough to display it in your presence. When Gabriel shrugged, the men holding Butler twisted his arms even further. I'll do it. I'll open my mouth. That's what you wanted, right? This moment was truly proof of your corruption, your evil. Swallow it. I could destroy you with this single piece of paper. But I'll forgive you. I'll forgive your sin. Well, thanks. All you need to do is swallow the sin that you spat from your body. He rammed the rolled up memo in Butler's mouth. It was only a bit bigger than a large candy. It felt as big as a fist to Butler. Look, it's fucking paper. Looked like he was starting to choke, but Butler continued to push it down his throat with a cold and merciless smile. That pain is the taste of your sin. Wrap your tongue around it and get a good taste. Come on, swallow it. If you spit it out, we'll keep doing this until you stop. Butler suffered from an intense desire to vomit, and there were even tears in his eyes, but he finally did swallow it. However, unable to bear the sensation of a foreign body in his stomach, he started choking several times. Very good. Now, the evidence of your evil deeds had disappeared. You've been forgiven one sin. He emphasized the word one, as if implying there were other sins that still hadn't been forgiven. Fuck you. What would you like me to swallow next? I believe I ordered you to cease all farces between the two of us. I believe I warned you that you'd be punished if you broke the rule. Go to hell, bastard. What did you just say in Japanese? He was insulting you, Major. I'll forgive that outburst. However, from now on, you are forbidden from speaking anything but English while in my presence. With the strength that you wouldn't have guessed lay within those thin arms, Gabriel dragged Butler to his feet. Then he pushed him away. Butler flew through the door to the bathroom and landed on his butt. This place will be closed for cleaning for a while. Yes, sir. I've done my own sort of research on how best to teach a lesson to a villain like you. Looking at the tests I've done so far, each one has been extremely effective. So you didn't mind as long as I used English, right? Go to hell, bastard.